we're gonna react to Balkan video games were different from living ironically in Europe. Okay. I don't think I've ever watched a video from this guy before, to be honest. But, yeah.
Video games.
I don't even know what the video is all about, but we'll see.
If there's anything that can overarchingly unify every group of people in the world, then that would have to be video games. As every person from the far-reaching prairies of the United States to the concrete jungles of Japan spent their childhood playing video games, and the Balkans are no exception. However, unlike much of the West and developed world, things were a bit different. During the 80s, 90s, and arguably early 2000s, when most of us were growing up,
bro, like, when did you get your first PC? When did you even get your first PC? Because for me, I think I got it in like 2008, 8 or 9, I can't remember. But before my first PC, I had a PS2. And I was playing, I told you guys, I was playing Prince of Persia. Prince of Persia and Hercules. Are you watching him because he's balding faster than you? I'm not balding, bro. I'm not. I told you, I'm in my peak right now.
In the West, one of the main video game producers for kids was Nintendo.
2000? What did you even get, bro? 2000? Okay. I was 6.
And many of you watching from the US most likely have fond memories of playing Super Mario, Legend of Zelda, Pokemon, Donkey Kong.
I've never played Legend of Zelda. Never. I'm not sure if I ever will, to be honest.
And many other classics. Yet, in the Balkans, this wasn't the case. If you've been a long-time viewer of this channel, you're aware that here we had this little thing called communism that basically deemed us as retarded for a good half of the 20th century.
Pretty much.
And essentially isolated us from the international community because our dear leaders cared more about being in a leftist book club rather than decent living standards, which impacted the amount of money people had to spend on essential goods such as food, clothes, and video games. As such, mainstream video games popular in the West were practically non-existent in the Balkans. What's more,
bro, I got this. I even have this right now. I have to search for it, but I still have it. I think I paid something like 200 euros. I bought it from Ireland, and that was like 10. And I only had 2 games on it. I had Pokemon, and I think it was. Nah, it was a game, I can't remember it, but I had this. It was a red one. Nah, I gotta show you this this one day. But yeah, 2000 or 2001 got my first PC. Okay, but because I have an older brother, I was pretty much born with it. Yeah, you were lucky. Because you weren't. Were you guys arguing with your, like, brothers, like, siblings? Like, on who's playing when? Who's playing when? I'm now. No, I am now.
Popular in the West were practically non-existent in the Balkans. What's more, they were even seen as extreme luxuries that either only the wealthiest member of Balkan society or people with relatives abroad had. After socialism crumbled and the free market started to be embraced in the late 90s and early 2000s, consumer-grade electronics finally started to make their way to the peninsula. But because of the significantly lower amounts of disposable income, a lot of families could only afford second-hand computers imported from Germany or PCs with really weak computing power. Even so, few families even possessed one. This ultimately impacted what games became popular amongst the kids in the Balkans. A lot of games that were popular usually came pre-installed on the computer, such as the classics that were disposable in the West, such as Space Cadet 3D, a digital pinball game. Oh my fucking god, bro, I played this like a motherfucker. I played this like 8 hours, like every day, for like a straight month. Holy, I even forgot about this. And Minesweeper, aka Boss in Life Simulator. However, there were others that somehow every Balkan PC magically had pre-installed on it, such as Stress Relief, which was an app that allowed the player to pick a variety of tools from a hammer, chainsaw, machine gun, flamethrower, and termite hand, to name a few, and then use them to destroy the Windows XP
I don't think I played
default
this, to be
background.
honest.
Another one was Zuma, which had graphics that resembled one of a slot machine game more than one for kids, where the player took control of a frog that would spit out different colored balls and have to match 3 of the same color in a row of balls that were heading to a hole before they...
Is this the reason Balkans are gambling so much these days? Because we were all playing Zuma? I mean, Balkans besides me, of course, because I don't gamble, so yeah, stay away from gambling, by the way. Yep.
Reached it and cleared the map.
It was Zuma
As
all
technology
along.
became more widespread and video games became more popular amongst the youth, more games also started to get played. However, at this point, the availability of computers and the internet was still quite limited. So games that would be obtained were very small regarding their needs of storage space and computing power.
What was that?
The obtained were very small.
Jazz Jackrabbits. I haven't played this, but I've heard a lot about this one. 58 megabytes, bro. What? That's crazy. Platformer. I played it. I never did. I never did. Got it?
Regarding
I never did.
storage space and computing power. So the way new games would be obtained was via a couple of ways. One of them involved going to a video game shop. Now, in the West, this was usually a GameStop or some other equivalent, but here, game shops were usually integrated in a computer repair shop, which was run by some middle-aged computer nerd who would be one of the few people in town with internet access, who'd pirate a shit ton of games and then burn them on these thick CDs, which had custom printed covers, which you could choose from a catalog lying on the counter. A lot of the time, the clerk would also provide you with a sheet of paper that had written instructions on how to crack the game as well. If your parents couldn't afford that, then one of your friends could. So then they'd give you a flash drive with the game, which was passed around school more than Riley Reid in a single shoot. And the games on it would eventually make their way onto the computers in the school's IT lab. In this time period, one of the most popular games that every single Slav watching will have an attack of nostalgia from just mentioning was Heroes 3. I don't think anybody can forget the unskippable cutscene at full volume you had to sit through when you first opened the game on a fresh computer, giving away your location to all IT teachers in a 10-kilometer radius. Essentially, Heroes 3 was a turn-based strategy game where you could control one of 9 factions that consisted of fantasy creatures who'd be at war against one another. To influence the outcome of battle alongside controlling their units,
I remember
you could also cast spells such as Armageddon and completely nuke the entire map. Another franchise that, alongside being popular in the Balkans, was also popular in the West was GTA.
Age of Empires, I played it a lot.
GTA Vice City and San Andreas.
Holy
the majority of my peers, one of my earliest memories was of me and my 6-year-old cousin utilizing cheat codes we kept in a notebook to summon a tank and just rampage the city and see how many stars we could get in GTA. I don't think anyone who played this in the Balkans as a kid even was aware that there were an actual story or campaign in these games. And everyone just went driving around cars like maniacs and shooting innocent bystanders. What made going around driving in Vice City and San Andreas and committing heinous crimes against humanity so fun was also the radio, which, oh my god, had some of the best tracks like... Or which no video game has ever been able to replicate since. Arguably, some of the most popular games were those in the arcade genre, such as Chicken Invaders, where you controlled a spaceship and...
Chicken Invaders, bro! Oh my... Bro, I played this, I think like 4 years ago, or like 3 years ago. I would still play this today.
And were shooting
That's how great of a game was this.
Which were dropping eggs on you. Essentially, it was just a bootleg Space Invaders, but you could get some insane power-ups where your bullets could go all over the map, which was just like ecstasy for kids. Another one was the Murhan series, which was a franchise of a variety of different games that also involved chickens. You had your classic Murhan where you clicked on chickens
I played this one. I played this one. This one I played, not the other ones.
You had your classic Murhan where you...
This one, I was playing it on a I forgot what was it called. It was like a You had like diskettes, like big ones. I can't remember what was it called.
Clicked on chickens that would pop up to shoot them, but
Sega
you also had
Genesis.
Moorhunt
I
Racing,
don't think so.
which was chickens racing in go-karts. And considering none of us even knew about the existence of
can't
Mario
remember.
Kart, this was the best thing in the entire world. And what's funny about these games was that a lot of them were in German because that's where the PC came from. So because naturally barely any of the kids spoke German, we'd all just have to instinctively learn what each button did through trial and error. And of course, we can't forget the staple arcade Balkan game, Feeding Frenzy, where the player took control of a fish and would eat other fish in an effort to get bigger.
This was like the chillest game, bro. This was like the chillest game ever. You would enjoy this like with your friends. They were like 5 friends in the background. You were at the PC. You would never let them play because you were. I mean, never mind. They were playing as well. But this was crazy, bro. This was such a good game.
And bigger while avoiding bigger fish who would look to eat you, with the final goal becoming so big you can eat a whale. Obscure platformers were also quite popular. One of such games was a 3D platformer, Santa Claus in Trouble, which again, somehow 90% of computers had pre-installed already. The players took control of Santa Claus and had to jump on different platforms, avoiding enemies and collecting presents. But although simple and intended for kids, this game was excruciatingly frustrating as the controls were so painstakingly clunky, and it was an art form itself to learn to control him. But the main thing that made a game popular in the Balkans was if it had available hot seat and LAN multiplayer capabilities. As I said earlier, the availability of computers was quite limited and not everyone could afford one. So, to play video games, a bunch of kids would gather at one friend's house who had some piece of shit toaster and then either take turns playing a game or all of us would use the same keyboard to control our own characters. But some of the most popular multiplayer games at the time were especially real-time strategy games like
the GOAT, bro, the literal GOAT, literally the GOAT.
Of Empires
I even played
and
this today,
Mythology, and especially Red Alert and Command and Conquer General,
as well.
which in no way whatsoever could ever be published today, as they had completely non-ethnically motivated Asian and Middle Eastern factions.
Well,
but amongst them, we also had arguably the best game, Jack Rabbit 2, which brings up so many memories of me and my friends taking control of these 2 rabbit brothers who run around shooting turtles and monsters while traversing 2D platformers in a mission to save the rabbit princess from the evil Chud turtle who for some reason controls an army of robots and demons and is also a demon himself. The game was so stylized with unique art and sprite movements and had some killer music as well.
Oh, this is the song that he played in the beginning of the video,
the 2 games that dominated hot seat multiplayer had to be Pocket Tanks and Worms Armageddon. Both games were quite similar, where players took turns to shoot different types of ammo
play this even today, bro.
on a large map, and
I
also
mean, it's
had
a different
to
game.
strategically position themselves not to get shot. Personally,
can't we play this on like a community game stream? Can't we?
my favorite of the 2 was Worms, as the art style was
cool,
way more cartoony, and you had a larger variety of.
I used to play Worms with my sister, and she would like smash me, bro. She would be like, I wouldn't even touch her. And after we played, she would beat me in real life too. Like, pom, you know? Like, I would be...
seemingly more bizarre weapons, some of which could blow up you and the entirety of the map. Truly a masterpiece.
Yeah.
As the popularity of video games started to grow, more games also started to be available. This came about in the version of PS2 games being adapted for the PC and then sold in grocery stores on a rack near checkout. So a lot of the time parents would buy one of these games on the way back home for their kids, which usually was some kind of Disney game like Tarzan, Toy Story, and
Bro, I have a boner right now.
For their kids, which usually was some kind of Disney game like Tarzan, Toy Story, and Hercules, which holy shit was fun. Everyone I know
Holy
owns
shit,
Hercules,
it
and it was
was.
genuinely one of the best Disney games hands down.
Nah,
Essentially,
bro.
it was a mix between a beat 'em up and a platformer, which had
Bro, this was so hard back when I was like a child. This was so hard. I couldn't beat this game like to save my life. And I played this like 5 years ago or some shit. And it was like I finished it in like 2 hours or something like that. It was never hard. We were just dumb. But yes, but bro, this was my Elden Ring, like the Elden Ring of childhood for me. It was so freaking hard, bro.
at different levels based on the movie. But the most infamous of all the Disney games was Aladdin. This one too was a platformer, but the map
this I
was so
played
confusing
too a
and
lot.
filled with enemies that it was the Dark Souls of Balkan games, with 99% of
This
my
was
friends
hard,
claiming
yeah.
they never could go past the first level as kids, as
Yeah, this
enemies
was
would
hard.
just kill you with bullshit you had no idea how to overcome. Yet, as time progressed, the internet became more prevalent and available. As such, internet cafes started
Bro, I still have one of those monitors. Like in my attic. I still have one. It's like 50 kilograms. Like it's crazy. Can't I find gold in it? Can I? Is there any gold in it? I think there is, no? I might have two actually. Most likely.
As time progressed, the internet became more prevalent and available. As such, internet
Blade of
cafes
Darkness,
started
I don't
springing
know
up
that
all over
one.
Balkan towns. And of course, kids would
$10
flock to them in droves, ready to
plus
spend
10,
their meager
plus 10.
launch money on
Hey,
computer
games
games.
game.
At this time, LAN and online multiplayer games really started to get popular. Of course, you can't talk about this time period without mentioning Counter-Strike
Crazy.
1.6. In every internet cafe, this was the hottest shit out there. Hordes of kids would duke it out against one another in the famous DDoS 2
Crazy,
map,
bro.
and that would spawn a buttload of memes like,
Out my way, son! Door stuck!
at this time,
me,
League of
bro.
Legends came out and instantly
Crazy meme.
became a huge hit all across the Balkans. I know today that
This is where we should have stopped. And this is where we should have stopped, bro. Like it all went downhill from here on. No.
at this time, League of Legends came out and instantly became
No.
a huge hit all across the Balkans.
Yeah,
I know
so many
today
epic games
that
skipped,
it's
but
a behemoth of a game.
videos 14 minutes long. I mean, yeah, but so many great videos skipped.
With a player base with not the greatest reputation. But back in the day, the game looked way more
Ali.
jagged and clunky and was one of the most fun things in the world to play with your friends, as no one took it as seriously and tried to make the most of their time at the internet cafe
Lol,
and then tell
almost
the stories of
23
their
year-
ridiculous
20
matches
years
next day at
old.
school.
Oh my
If
freaking
competitive
God, yeah.
games weren't your forte, then
crazy.
naturally you'd play World of Warcraft. Now, again, I know this was quite popular in the West, but
I haven't played. I think I've played like in my whole life like about 40 to like 45 minutes of WoW. But I've played Metin 2 and you all know about it because I was addicted to it for like 20 years. But yeah.
the thing is, no one in the Balkans could afford a subscription. So instead, people played a cracked version of the game and also created
Classic
free and
Balkans,
cracked
bro.
servers to play on,
Cracked.
many of which would lack core features of the game, but nevertheless, it was still so much fun to just be able to play the base game. At this time, the internet was also introduced in the computer labs at
I think even now, like people from Balkan still crack games. No, I mean, I'm just curious to like see year over year decline of like people cracking games. No, do we have a stat like that? Can we see that anywhere? Because that would be crazy to see. Because I feel like there's definitely like a big decline.
school. So, like everywhere
more
else in the
affordable?
world, instead of actually learning how to use
Crimson Desert, 70 euros. Yeah.
Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, or the basics of Python, instead everyone in the class would play Flash games.
Ooh, I played
Of
this
course,
too.
sites like Miniclip, Newgrounds dominated with their edgy games, with one of the most popular ones being Bubble Trouble. But some of the
Bro,
more locally
so many
recognizable
memories.
sites were Freb.com and Poki.hu, where there were more Flash games
I
than
don't know
you knew
these.
what to do with them all. A popular one because of the multiplayer was Fireboy
played
and
this a
Water
lot
Girl,
too.
which was a co-op puzzle platformer where the players had to solve puzzles to allow the others to enter different chambers in the map.
I
and
played
collect
this
all-
too, and I played this a lot with my sister and then with some of my friends. But when I was playing with my sister, she used to like tell me all the time that I was wrong. I was doing things wrong. I'm so bad. I can't play. And then I would take a beating. But I think she was the one that was bad. Like, I'm realizing this now.
The gems. But of course, although these games were great, there were also masterpieces, such as the Pilsner game, where 9-year-olds...
If you know, you know. W game.
collected falling beer bottles while a PNG of a woman stripped, and of course, the greatest digital gem, Bosnia 2D.
What is this, bro?
And yeah, those were just some of the games popular in our childhood. Let me know which game did I miss and which were your favorite. If you enjoyed this video, click that like button, and if you really did, smash the subscribe button and become a member like these wonderful people. My name is Janos, and you watched Living Ironically in Europe.
Hey, hey, why are you living in the USA? It is not the place to stay.
Oh, that's a banger, bro. Oh, that's a banger. Holy shit. Okay. W video, bro. I don't... Absolute W. But he forgot, like, lots of games, no? Like, he didn't even mention Metin 2. Need for Speed Underground. Bro, they didn't... Did he mention anything about Need for Speed? No, right? Oh, Metin 2 again. Neighbors from Hell. Oh my god. I used to play that a lot too. Okay. Yeah, W video, bro. I loved it. I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot.